The committee will come to order. Let the record show that a full quorum of the committee is present. This is the first open session of this committee under my chairmanship. And I wish to announce the hearings on new applications will be suspended temporarily in order to enable the committee to reopen for investigation a number of cases in which permanent entry has been granted and where the committee has reason to believe there is evidence of disloyalty, actual or potential. Mr. Oates, who is our first witness?
Socrates.
Please state your full name for the record.
I am called Socrates.
Mr. Socrates, what is your occupation?
Philosopher.
Mr. Socrates, this committee has heard certain testimony in closed session concerning your activities. An accusation has been made against you to this effect, that Socrates is an evildoer and a curious person who searches into things under the earth and in heaven, and he makes the worst appear the better cause. Do you care to deny that statement?
While I have the life and strength, I shall never cease from the practice and teaching of philosophy, exhorting anyone I meet after my manner and convincing him, saying that...
Witness is not being responsive to the question. Mr. Chairman, I request that he be ordered to answer yes or no.
Witness will answer the question. Is this accusation true? And if so, are you still engaged in these subversive activities?
I do nothing but go about persuading you all, young and old alike, not to take thought for your persons and your properties, but first and chiefly to care about the greatest improvement of the soul. I tell you that virtue is not given by money, but that from virtue come money and every other good of man, public as well as private. This is my teaching, and if this is the doctrine which corrupts the youth, my influence is ruinous indeed. But if anyone says that this is not my teaching, he is speaking an untruth.
Oh, come on now, Socrates, don't hand me that. You know that's not an answer to my question. Unless you're responsive to the question, the committee can draw only one inference.
Acquit me or not, but whatever you do, know that I shall never alter my ways, not even if I have to die many times.
Mr. Socrates, your failure to clear yourself of the charge of subversion, although given a fair opportunity to do so, can leave no doubt in the minds of the members of this committee that granting you permanent entry was a serious mistake. Any questions? Mr. Oates?
No questions.
Mr. Torquemada?
No questions.
Judge Jeffries?
No questions.
Mr. Mather?
No questions.
Mr. Socrates, it is the ruling of this committee that pursuant to Section 28A, Article 4B, Paragraph 2 of the Internal Security Regulations, you be handed over to an officer of the Immigration Service for the purpose of deportation from up here to down there. Is the next witness ready, Mr. Oates?
He is.
Please state your full name.
My name is Karl Marx.
Mr. Marx, I hand you a pamphlet written by one Karl Marx. Now, you wrote this pamphlet, didn't you, Marx?
Oh, no.
You deny that you wrote this pamphlet?
I did not write it.
Oh, come on now, Marx. You know I won't get you anywhere here. We know you wrote this. There's no use denying it.
No, I didn't write. I'm not a writer.
You say you're not a writer, but you are Karl Marx.
Yes, but I am Karl Marx, the watchmaker.
Just a moment. Mr. Oates. Mr. Marx, there seems to be some confusion as to whether or not the committee has subpoenaed the right Karl Marx. The witness is excused for the time being. Do not leave the hearing room. Mr. Oates, do we have another witness?
We do.
All right. Please state your full name.
Thomas Jefferson.
Your occupation?
President.
Did you engage in any other occupation, Mr. Jefferson?
I was a gentleman farmer.
Oh, I'm not referring to that. Is it not a fact that you were an active revolutionary?
Mr. Chairman.
That, in fact, you were one of the leaders of a movement which had as its aim the overthrow of established government by force and violence?
Mr. Chairman, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another,
Come on now, Tom. You know you're stalling. Just answer the question. You don't have to make a speech.
Mr. Chairman, perhaps if you made the question more specific. We all want to be fair to Mr. Jefferson.
Yes, your point is well taken, Mr. Oates. Mr. Jefferson, I hand you a statement purported to have been made by you in a letter to a Mr. William Stephen Smith. Will you read it, please?
What country before ever existed a century and a half without rebellion? The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is its natural manure.
Did you or did you not make that statement? If you did, do you still subscribe to those views?
If there be any among us who wish to dissolve this union, let them stand undisturbed as monuments of the safety with which error of opinion may be tolerated where reason is left free to combat it.
Who are you trying to kid, Tom? I've asked you a simple question. Why don't you cooperate with this committee? Are you opposed to the work of this committee? Don't you think this committee has a right to expose subversives like this Socrates? Now, where do you stand, Tom?
It behooves every man who values liberty of conscience for himself to resist invasions of it in the case of others, or their case may, by change of circumstances, become his own. It behooves him, too, in his own case, to give no example of concession, betraying the common right of independent opinion by answering questions of faith which the laws have left between God and himself.
I think it's a waste of time to question this witness any further, unless the committee has some questions.
No question.
Mr. Jefferson, it is the ruling of this committee that pursuant to Section 28A, Article 4B, Paragraph 2 of the Internal Security Regulations, that you be handed over to an officer of the Immigration Service for the purpose of deportation from up here to down there. Who is the next witness, Mr. Rhodes?
Karl Marx.
Is this the right Karl Marx this time?
We believe it is.
Your name is Karl Marx?
Yeah.
I hand you this pamphlet and ask you if you are the author.
Oh, no.
You deny it?
I am not a writer.
But you are Karl Marx.
Yeah. But I am Karl Marx, the piano tuner.
There's obviously a misunderstanding here. The witness is excused temporarily.
Thank you.
Mr. Oates, let's try to have this cleared up before our next session. Do you have another witness?
Yes, we do.
Then we'll proceed. Please state your full name.
John Milton.
Occupation?
Poet.
Have you ever engaged in any other activity, Mr. Milton?
For a short time, I was Latin secretary to the Lord General Cromwell.
I don't think that's quite accurate, Mr. Milton. Would it not be more accurate to say that you were one of the chief propagandists for a man who led a bloody revolution and later became a ruthless dictator? Is that not a fact, Mr. Milton? That was your chief activity, not poetry. Poetry was a sideline, wasn't it? You wrote political pamphlets, didn't you?
I did but prompt the age to quit their clogs by the known rules of ancient liberty, when straight a barbarous noise environs me of owls and cuckoos, asses, apes and dogs.
Strike that from the record. Now, you won't get anywhere, Milton, by insulting the members of this committee. Now, we're giving you an opportunity to clear yourself. Why don't you play ball with us, John? Why are you trying to protect this two-bit general, a man who was a disgrace to his uniform? Now, if you wrote these pamphlets on Cromwell's order, we can understand that. We understand you had some personal difficulties with Mrs. Milton. You probably needed the money. We don't wish to pry into your personal affairs, John. This isn't one of those star chambers like they used to have in your time. Just tell us where you stand in your own words.
Give me the liberty to know, to utter and to argue freely, according to conscience, above all liberties. And though all the winds of doctrine were let loose to play upon the earth, so truth be in the field, we do injuriously by licensing and prohibiting to misdoubt her strength. Let her and falsehood grapple. Whoever knew truth put to the worse in a free and open encounter, her confuting, is the best and surest suppressing. For who knows not that truth is strong next to the Almighty? She needs no policies, nor stratagems, nor licensing to make her victorious. Those are the shifts and defenses that error uses against her power. Give her but room, and do not bind her when she sleeps.
Well, there's no doubt where you stand, Jack.
He's saying the same thing this Jefferson feller said. All these fellers say the same thing.
Naturally, they say the same thing. They're part of the same conspiracy. John Milton, it is the ruling of this committee that pursuant to Section 28A, Article 4B, Paragraph 2 of the Internal Security Regulations, that you be handed over to an officer of the Immigration Service for the purpose of deportation from up here to down there. Who is the next witness, Mr. Oates?
Karl Marx.
Well, let's hope we've got the right one this time. Now then, your name is Karl Marx?
Yeah.
I hand you this pamphlet and ask you if that is your name on the title page.
Yeah, that is my name. Karl Marx.
Then you are the Karl Marx. You're the man who wrote this.
Oh, no, no.
Now, you've just admitted that your name is on this pamphlet. Do you not deny that statement?
Oh, no. That is my name there, Karl Marx. But I'm not a writer. I'm Karl Marx, the pastry chef.
Pastry chef. Now, just a minute. This is going too far. One of you Karl Marxes is lying.
Oh, no, no, no.
Just a moment.
They may be brothers.
There's some doubt in the minds of the members of this committee as to whether we have the real Karl Marx here. The committee wishes to be fair. We don't want innocent people to suffer. However, security is the paramount issue. It is therefore the ruling of this committee that all persons by the name of Karl Marx be deported from up here to down there, pursuant to Section 28A, 4B, Paragraph 2 of the Internal Security Regulations. William Lyon Mackenzie.
Let the farmer leave his husbandry, the mechanic his tools, and pour forth your gallant population animated by the pure spirit of liberty. Be firm and collected. Be determined. Be united. Never trifle with your rights. Strive to strike corruption at its roots, to encourage a system calculated to promote peace and happiness, to secure as our inheritance the tranquil advantages of civil and religious freedom, general content, and easy independence.
Francois-Marie Arouet de Voltaire.
Liberty of thought is the life of the soul.
John Stuart Mill.
If all mankind minus one were of one opinion, and only one person were of the contrary opinion, mankind would be no more justified in silencing that one person than he, if he had the power, would be justified in silencing mankind. We can never be sure that the opinion we are endeavoring to stifle is false opinion, and if we were sure, stifling it would still be evil.
Martin Luther.
It is neither safe nor prudent to do aught against conscience. Here stand I cannot do otherwise.
Baruch Spinoza.
Thomas
It is the
Paine.
ruling of this committee that pursuant to Section 28A,
Oliver
Article
Cromwell.
4B, Paragraph 2 of the Internal
Giuseppe
Security
Garibaldi.
that you be handed over to an officer of the
Victor
Immigration
Hugo.
Service for the purpose of deportation
Abraham
from
Lincoln.
here to down there.